G'day mates, in today's video we're going to be talking about the first solo cash cup of the season, which pros are popping off, which ones are struggling, and how is the solo meta looking coming into chapter 3 season 2. We also had the PlayStation Cup finals, and a bit of a follow-up to last video. We have a lot of pros and players getting banned for cheating and teaming, and I want to clear up exactly why that is. Also, on the topic of the PlayStation Cup finals, we had a player walk away with the first place slot with 0 eliminations. We pretty much have Cray 2.0 with a new heal-off strategy that I want to talk about and whether it should be nerfed. Also, we have a mini LAN event being announced coming up, hosted by none other than yours truly and NRG, flying out the best players from around the world to compete in LA in the first Fortnite LAN event in a really long time. So I'm going to have all the details for that at the end of today's video. There's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Gonna kick off today's video talking about our first solo cash cups of the season, and honestly watching them today was a blast. I really enjoyed watching the solo meta right now. Last season, a lot of people always arguing that everyone got carried by Spider-Man. If you didn't have a Spider-Man, you couldn't place. All of that is behind us, and yes, there are some issues. Yes, the vehicles are being abused very heavily, but honestly right now watching solos is a lot of fun to me. And if you look at the leaderboards, some really good players came out on top. You can't argue this is a no skill meta or the best players aren't winning. Honestly, this was such a good tournament to watch. So let's run through the leaderboard, pick out some of the big names, and of course, starting off with EU, we had Thomas HD of Australis in first on 113 points, played 6 matches, didn't get any wins, only 2.5 average elims, which is still very high for solos, but nothing crazy. But what was crazy was the average placements of 11.5, and now that is insane. Getting a 6 elim 6th, 3 elim 4th, 3 elim 6th, 1 elim 10th, a 0 elim 29th, and then a 2 elim 14th. Having 5 insane games. When your worst game is a 29th place and then a 14th place in set lobby solos, you are doing insanely well. Thomas HD played so ridiculous. I didn't watch this live, but I went back and watched some of the replays, and honestly, Thomas HD was looking so good, and that's why he won by almost 10 points, which in solos is a pretty big margin, beating out Deceptos in second on 104, Seti in third on 100, Nebs coming back big after a disappointing last season in duos, at least, on a 98, I drop on 97, and then I don't know how to pronounce this name. It's Sulit Kombek maybe on 95. We had Andalex, JJT Wokong, and then we had Slove, and then SLQ Intense. So really big leaderboard. We also had Podesai, Mariah, and some other big names around the top. I want to give a personal shout out to 21st. We had Suns, the OCE export, the first time an OCE player has ever placed on EU in his first solo cash cup, and he's in 21st, just beating out Mustache. Huge performance for him. But if you go through the whole EU leaderboard, you're going to see the same story. Really good players who are popping off who deserve this. So it was very fun to watch. And again, if you guys are asking me what is the main thing I'm noticing from watching solos right now, who is doing well and why, it's vehicles. The players that are utilizing vehicles, rotating of vehicles, keeping them safe, even sometimes going as far as pick up repair tools, are doing really well, with launch pads being the only form of mobility right now. And again, with the new glitch, and again, I wanted to address this is a glitch where the launch pads are being marked to all opponents. It does make the launch pads that are available in the lobby much easier to find, which is helping with a lot of rotation. When that glitch gets fixed, which I imagine it will, it is going to be a bit harder, but right now vehicles are the go-to. If you get a vehicle on drop or near your drop and you can hold on to it, use it in rotating zones and save as many mats as you can, that is the key to success. Also, being able to just find smart refreshes, but that is obviously no surprise. Being able to find smart refreshes is good in every single meta, but right now with the zones pulling max distance so often, moving so slowly, and surge not being as scary, burning through mats is going to be very common, and being able to utilize the new sprinting mechanic especially to save those materials and then go for the impact refreshes when you can, that is the key to success in solos right now. But the biggest difference from last season to this season outside the sprinting is definitely the use of vehicles. Moving over to NAE, so we had an absolutely nail-biting finish. We had TK coming out in first on 132 points, 6 matches with 1 win. His win came in his second last game being an 8 elim win, and his last game being a 4 elim 13th. And I say nail-biting because Flu Cam Slam, or now PSG TNA Cam, was just behind him, and he got a 5 elim second in the very last game. If Cam won the final 1v1, he would have beat TK. The 6 points for the win and the 1 point for the elim would have been enough for him to beat TK by a single point, but unfortunately Cam did go down, but he played so insanely well. Again, two players, Cam especially, who I feel like last season had a massive blow up, and some people still having those whispers of, oh, carried by Spider-Man, you know, he doesn't know how to rotate nothing without Spider-Man, he's just jumping in with SMGs. Proved a lot of people wrong here and showed how dominant he is right now. So TK and Cam should be very proud of themselves. They did dominate. They were almost 20 points clear of third, so it really was a two-horse race at the very end there, but 126 and 132 points in solos is insane. Both these players played so insanely well. Again, if you look at EU, when first place was 113, pretty unfortunate for Cam not to win it on 126, but they both played really well. We had Elite in third place on 108. We had Glace on 100. It's fantastic seeing Glace back on top. Nebs from EU in fifth place on 92. An insane game from him. Unfortunately, his last game being a 0 elim 89th was his worst game, and if he had another insane game, could have actually potentially won the Cash Cup. He did have a 4 elim win, 3 elim fourth, 1 elim third, and then that last game. So 3 really good games in a row from a player, again, from EU on about 100 ping. I don't know exactly how much Nebs gets. Then we had Chubbs, Noisy, Teeny, again from EU as well, in 8th place. Tragics in 9th, and then Larson in 10th. And again, shout out to Trashy, who was just outside 10th in 11th. It was insane to see Trashy and Glaze both almost inside the top 10. Two solo players who are insane, who are now playing as a duo, and Trashy did that with only 5 games. He actually didn't connect into one of his games and still almost got a top 10. The NA West Solo Cash Cup was one of the most fun I've had watching a Cash Cup in a minute, because first place was live streaming it and is none other than my new Erena cavalry since I moved to NA West. We had Midi winning it all on 112 points, 6 matches with 1 win, playing absolutely phenomenal. His second last game being a 6 elim win, his last game being a 3 elim 9th. Just really consistent gameplay from Midi. He played so phenomenally well, and honestly, I'm going to take some credit for this. Since I started playing with Midi, he now goes on to win his first Cash Cup since playing Erena with me. And you know, I know you're probably thinking, Aussie's because you taught him this, you showed him this. No, I think it's just because I anchor so hard that when you play with me, you have to improve as a player that much, so that when you go and play in a tournament, you are that much better. And I'm truly sticking to that. I am the training weights of the pro scene. We had Jagveer coming in second on 105 points, Suscript on 102, Belthy on 95, Duke on 88, Playerfy on 86, Drizzo, Yasir, Noah W plays, who I was really proud of. Noah has been doing really well in the open Cash Cups, but then usually struggling in the set lobby finals, but getting a 9th place was phenomenal from him. His last game being a 0 elim 22nd, almost pulled it together. He was contested on spawn. He went down twice on spawn, 90th and 94th. So if he can get an uncontested drop and find that same level of consistency and success, we could easily see Noah win a Cash Cup this season, which would be amazing. Then we had Vaspy and then Defiable just outside of that in 11th. And like I said, watching NA West was an absolute treat. So many of them were streaming, and as much as I love doing my replay mode viewing parties, watching streams and watching someone pop off and win like Midi did, it always hits different. I want to do a follow-up to my last video, which was on the PlayStation Cup qualifiers and all the issues that tournament was having with teaming and cheating, and everyone was freaking out. And it looks like Epic has gone pretty heavy on the ban hammer, and a whole bunch of pros have found themselves banned. Now, let me talk about this really quickly though, because in the last video, I talked about how there was people who were blatantly teaming, where it looks like they have coordinated, they were in calls, or they were communicating, they were driving around in tanks together, they were deliberately not fighting and eliminating other opponents. And then there was also a bunch of people that it looked to be like teaming, and a lot of you guys in the comments said it is cheating and they should be banned, where they were just getting in vehicles of other opponents to avoid dying. They were hiding in the vehicle, and it was almost like an unwritten agreement not to fight each other, because as soon as you started shooting or got out, you pretty much instantly got eliminated. But then there was also people arguing that that wasn't teaming because they didn't have prior arrangements to do that. They weren't saying like, hey man, let me get in your car. And it looks like Epic has kind of drawn that distinction as well, because I actually reached out to Mr. Griffs. If you guys don't know, huge content creator within the console scene, does a lot for the console community, and he was doing a viewing party for all these different tournaments for the PlayStation finals. And I asked him, who are the people getting banned and what does it look like they're getting banned for? And it doesn't actually look like it was players just getting in vehicles with other players. It looks like people who were doing the same thing every single game, driving from location to location, picking up their friends and having an actual prior agreement not to fight, even going so far as to pick up players and deliver them to other players for free eliminations, pretending to take shots at each other, just very clearly trying to not eliminate certain people. It's just, we're talking proper teaming. It doesn't look like players who actually just got in vehicles with other opponents because it was the safe thing to do and they didn't want to get eliminated. It doesn't look like those players are getting banned. They might be getting banned in the future. And again, you guys know me, I don't like to witch hunt. I don't want to call out names and start posting clips and start breaking it down. If you guys want to watch how some of the gameplay looked and judge for yourself, I'll link Mr. Griff's VOD in the description down below. You guys can go watch it and take a look. But it does look like the vehicles are causing a pretty big issue in the no build mode. And you guys came up with some great suggestions in the comments. One of the most popular ones being that in team game modes, you can only get in your teammate's vehicle, or in solos, you can't get in an opponent's vehicle. I know that'll make vehicles a little bit stronger because if someone's about to run you over, you can't just instantly jump in, but it would make things a lot better with these vehicle teaming situations. You can't just take vehicles out of no building as one of the only ways to rotate safely. So I think they do need to stay in the game, but there are some major issues around that one right now. But I did want to give an update because it's not the only issue we're seeing with the no building game mode. Whether you see it as an issue or not, I wanted to talk about another player who actually won the NA West PlayStation no build tournament with 0 eliminations. We had Shipsky GG, who apparently has been known for these heal off strategies. I was talking to Mr. Griffs again. He said, look, this guy is basically like Cray 2.0. He's Cray's prodigy. He's played with him in the past and he loves these heal off strats. And because of the no build game mode, when the end games finish up mountains or just in open areas, the lobbies die out so quickly that he doesn't even have to keep healing in zone until like second or third rotating. The games just end. And that is how he won $1,400 and came first by 13 points with 0 eliminations. Apparently, again, I can't go and watch the replays because I don't own a PlayStation and these aren't public to see, which I think Epic really needs to fix. These should be on Fortnite tracker so people can see and go watch the games, but either way, it's locked to PlayStation. But Shipsky, apparently his strategy is going fishing behind chonkers, rotating to chonkers and sitting there and just healing off for the entire game. It's not the first time we've seen this, and heal off strategies have already divided the community in the past. A lot of people saying they're really skillful, they're a strategy in the game. If you don't want to die to heal off, you should be dropping at these locations. Other people arguing that it's not fair, it's not counterable, and it's not Fortnite. You shouldn't be able to just sit in Storm eating floppers and then earn money from players who are actually playing the game. And I respect the heal off strategies. I don't like the idea of people winning entire tournaments with healing in zone, not actually fighting. But if Epic puts the items in the game where you can do that, you can't be mad at the players who are going to abuse it. You now have someone who's $1,400 richer. I have no ill feelings towards Shipsky. GG, man. You're obviously probably not the only person trying to do it, but you did it better than anyone else. But it does spark another issue with the no build game mode that needs to be addressed by Epic. And I want to make this clear. I'm not just saying this because, oh, the no build game mode's terrible, it's not competitive, Epic should take it out. It's just because it's a new game mode. It's gonna have some of these issues, and this is the first major no build tournament we've had that wasn't invited only. Because again, when you invite the content creators and the pros, it's always going to be a different tournament than when players are playing through the qualifiers and they're people that you don't recognize. So there were some issues with this tournament. I don't think it's right to just say that all no building tournaments that are open are going to be terrible in the future. Just like Fortnite, when it first started out, there were some major issues that had to get ironed out to make it a proper game mode. So we'll see how this one goes, but unfortunately, it wasn't a great start to the no build tournament with prize money for the open community. Now, I'm not going to give all the details on this one. I'm going to wait until we announce them properly and then talk about it completely in a video. But in case you guys missed it, NRG posted it on their socials at the moment. We have the NRG Champion Show coming up featuring Fortnite, which is a mini LAN event where NRG has invited a bunch of huge players from around the world. Hen and Queasy, Duke and Miro, Fabs and Snacky, Clicks and Day. A bunch of players are going to be flown out to the Hot Pockets Castle in LA, and they're going to compete in a creative style tournament to see which region's the best and which players are the best when they're on the same setups in person. It's going to be crazy. Again, I'll put out proper details soon. This is going to be hosted on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. It's taking place on April 19th from 2 till 5 p.m. This is not the full details. I'll wait to include it properly in a video when more details are announced, but I wanted to make sure you guys are paying attention to it, and a whole bunch of you guys keep reaching out to ask me what's going on. So just know it's happening, and I'll give you the full details soon. It's going to be a big one. It feels like every other video I'm talking about an insane no-build tournament, and today was no exception. We had the Women of the Erena $75,000 no-build trios tournament take place. We had Elixir, Vanessa, and Nortor take away the top spot on 142 points, walk away with $15,000, and this was the ringer team. If you guys don't follow a lot of the Fortnite scene, Elixir, Vanessa, and Nortor are three insane players. Put them together, and looking at the players going into this tournament, they would have been my pick to win it. They did get one victory, and again, beating out second by almost 30 points. They played insanely well. It was a super exciting tournament. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was doing the Cash Cups at the time, but I went back and watched Nick A30's VOD. If you guys want to catch any of the action, I'll link in the description down below. But it looks like these invite-only no-build tournaments are still pulling insane hype, insane attention, and everyone's loving them.